I'm going to show you how to make these delicious pumpkin muffins that require absolutely no sugar to sweeten. They're quick and easy to make, and they require just a few simple ingredients. So let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to be making some pumpkin muffins, and what's interesting is these are actually very healthy. Instead of being sweetened by sugar, we're going to use dates to sweeten them. So I have the dates here. I have all the ingredients here and the list. So we're going to start off with 1 cup of pumpkin, and you can also use sweet potatoes or applesauce, and you can substitute in quite a number of different things, and it usually turns out pretty good. My mom actually likes to make these, and they're always pretty decent. So there's about a cup there, and ooh, got a little pumpkin going everywhere. Because she likes to make them, the recipe actually calls for 1 cup of dates, but I already know that that's about 12. So instead of going with 1 cup, I already measured it out with 12 dates here. So we're going to put those in now. And these were not pitted. I got the ones you have to pit yourself, so there's a little bit of extra work there. And then 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm using pure vanilla, but I assume the imitation vanilla would also work. 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. And yes, you heard that right, apple cider vinegar. Supposedly that helps with the lift, although these muffins don't have any lift to them. Whatever the level is you pour them in at, that's pretty much where they're going to be. They are good muffins. They're a bit dense, but there's not much lift. But I will try to stick to the recipe. I don't have apple cider vinegar. I do, however, have white vinegar. I'll put in a little bit less overspilled there, so we'll see how that works. I'm sure it'll be fine. 1 cup of milk. So you can use almond milk, you can use oat milk, various different ones. I'm using regular milk, but we have used it with other milks, and it always turns out pretty good. So those are the wet ingredients. Now, the recipe does kind of call for mixing them together and trying to get uniform. And it also says to mix the ingredients in separate bowls. I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to get this mixed together and then just start adding the dry ingredients, because it just seems a little more time efficient. And I'm sure it'll be fine. Ooh. Might have to switch my utensil here. The spoon is getting a little bit warped. Okay, those are about mixed up. I switched to a little bit of a bigger spoon to help mix everything up there. So we're going to put in 2 cups of oats. I think I should have enough here. Now I'm trying to use organic oats. I'm trying to use everything that I can organic. Yeah, we're pretty much just at 2 cups. So I'll have to buy some more there. But I'm trying to use as much organic as I can. Obviously, that's the best thing you can do for yourself. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. There's half a teaspoon, so I'll use 2 of these. Okay. 1 teaspoon of baking soda. I'll wipe this off. One teaspoon of cinnamon. I feel like this one I would be comfortable going a little bit over on. I like cinnamon. And then a tablespoon of flaxseed. So I'll wash this off real quick. I'll just do a heaping tablespoon there. And 1.5 cups of walnuts. I like walnuts, so I'm just gonna guesstimate it a little bit on the 1.5 cups. I don't mind if it goes over. In fact, I'd prefer it. So that is all for our dry ingredients, and now we just blend them, and we're going to put them in a cupcake container. So what I did before I started is I went ahead and buttered the cupcake containers here with just one of these silicone brushes. And I prefer to use butter as opposed to the cooking oil sprays. Obviously, butter is better for you. It's better for your gut health and all of those things. Those cooking oil sprays, they can hurt your gut health, mess with your hormones, all different things. At least with butter, you know what you're getting. So that's what I prefer to use, and that's what I'm using here. And then we're just going to fill these up. Now, you don't have to worry about these expanding. Whatever you put in, that's what they're going to be. And they don't take long to bake either, so they're going to go in for about 25 minutes. Okay, so I have 12 filled out, so they're just going to go in the oven at 350 for about 25 minutes. Okay, so it's been about 25 minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and pull the muffins out. We'll take a look at how they formed and set up. And if I remember right, these actually need to cool down all the way because they're a little bit soft and that they continue setting up. So you're not going to want to eat these warm, I don't think. But yeah, so I'm going to take them out, let them cool down, and then we'll see what they look like afterwards. But let's see what they look like now. All right, they look pretty good. Now, I think I may have said the wrong thing. Some of them actually did, like this one right here, and yeah, a couple of the others, they actually did rise a little bit. Yeah, a little more than expecting. But overall, they look pretty much how I expect them to look. So I'll let them cool down and then I'll try them out. Okay, so the muffins are done. Now let's see how they turned out. So they look pretty good on the top. They did rise a little bit. They peel off pretty decently out of the wrapper. Again, I used butter around the wrapper. So they're holding up quite well. Now again, these are a little bit on the softer side, which you may or may not like, but they turn out really, really good. Yeah, these taste pretty much exactly how I remember when my mom makes them. So yeah, they turned out very good. I would recommend anyone trying these out if you want a sweet treat. And again, you can use applesauce or sweet potato in place of pumpkin, but I like the pumpkin. And one of the best things about these is that you're not using sugar to sweeten them. So they're a sweet treat you can have that's actually healthy for you, and you know what all the ingredients are, as opposed to things you can buy from the store that have ingredients you can't even name. So yeah, be sure to give these a try, and also like and subscribe for more.